Hey, guess what, everybody? Go listen to the Break It Down show.
And now, the Break It Down show with John and Pete.
I'm going to start off by saying we are at Bayview Studios, which is what I call my kitchen table.
Is it nice?
It's
nice for you.
Thanks. With Scott Pelkey.
Hi.
Now, the basis of our show is that we have interesting people who do fascinating things. And you definitely, most definitely,
why I'm here, I don't know.
Fall in the category of interesting dude doing fascinating shit.
Okay.
However, you are here because you are our homeboy.
Yeah.
And true to form with all of our guests,
Yeah.
I'm nothing important. I don't do anything.
Yeah, that's what they all fucking say.
I got to go walk the dog, and my daughter's got the flu.
Yeah,
You're the catalyst as to why we're all here.
it's true.
Well,
It's true.
Someone's got to do that.
Pete is what is known as a connector.
He is.
Yeah,
I can't.
which for a lot of people means he takes it in both holes. But however the connection happens.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
On Facebook today, I was talking with Mark Safransky and a bunch of other people, and we were talking about Hitler. And someone, what it was Mark said at this point,
It's just a casual Hitler conversation.
Well, because he's a
Hey, what do you think about Hitler?
he's an instructor.
Topic, Hitler.
He's
He's an instructor.
Hitler
He's a
instructor.
teacher. No, but Hitler comes up, and then he's like, invariably this time of year when Hitler comes up, one of his college students is going to write, or high school students is going to write about it, and they're going to, instead of saying tyranny, they'll say tranny.
Somebody will say it.
Right. So
Was Hitler a cross-dresser?
I don't know, but tits and a dick might have made him happier.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true. Man, he had a lot of pent-up aggression, and
Yeah.
that was the generation where you couldn't really be yourself.
It would have been an entirely different thing if he'd have come out.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
That's why I'm all for that shit, man. You know what I mean?
let it go.
I'm all for everybody just being whatever they are.
From Hitlers to trannies.
Right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let him fly his freak flag.
But that is
tits and a
really-
dick. Go, God bless. Go do it.
That's a viable explanation because that dude was not right in the head.
And he had that artist vein too, so he probably was a little more.
He did.
On,
He was
on that side of his
artistic.
brain.
He was
yeah.
probably very, very in tune with, the Nazi uniform.
Oh, he was very
Was all-
I'm sure he was very narcissistic.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
also fashion forward.
Absolutely. Well, Hugo Boss was who
That's right.
Who do you think
Hugo
designed?
Boss
Who do you think
designed the Nazi
designed
uniforms.
the SS uniforms?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. See.
I mean, let's take this uniform and
let's make something of it.
let's take this uniform and you know what this uniform needs? A splash of color.
splash.
How about an armband? That's masculine. How about we accentuate the bicep with an armband?
Need some flair.
It really, you're right. It really draws out the shoulders.
That was important.
Yeah. You need them shoulders.
That's right. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, we solve a lot in this show.
That just
Absolutely.
That just happened fast.
That's right.
That was quick.
I will tell you, and I will say this in front of anybody, in the Islamic world where there's a lot of oppression and a lot of conflict, some chicks might help them dudes out because I watch how
I swear to God.
crazy they are. They're like seriously, Scott, they're like 8th grade boys. In Afghanistan, I'm at a party. It's all dudes. It all smells like 8th grade boys. It's,
Right.
no one's showering. They're dancing. It's homoerotic as hell. And you're like,
sure.
what you guys need is a bunch of bitches. But that's not how they do
All
it.
that
no,
repressed
right.
shit.
All that repressed. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, they are so horny. They're so pent up.
let
They're
them
like,
free the burkas.
yeah, I have to get married. Yeah. Like, I know you do. I can tell.
Right.
Because you're going crazy.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's their problem. They just maybe that's
It
the
would
answer.
help.
All just free up.
It would help. It
free up
would.
the women, and it's all
Yeah,
good.
that's true.
I don't know.
Or whatever.
There'd still be
Whatever.
problems, but that wouldn't be one of them anymore.
No. We'd have a whole lot happier
There's always going to be problems.
Al Qaeda and ISIS duders.
Right.
If
Let's
there
just help everybody just loosen up a little bit. You know what? Lighten up, Francis.
Look, have some
what I'm
barbecue. Check out these bitches. Like,
Yeah.
I always want to put a Hooters in every Afghan valley.
Nice.
Everybody has jobs.
Also, let's
And
just
only
reform
have-
all the religions
you can
so
only
it's
have the
okay
middle-
to rub one out from time to time.
Yeah.
Just get rid of some tension, man.
why
Rub
not?
one out.
Why
Maintenance
not? They got why not? They take time to pray and stuff. Just in the meantime, rub one out while you're
Yeah.
bent over,
Right.
kneeling.
What is it? 5 times a day?
Is that it?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for
that's a
prayer?
lot of
Sure.
rubbing
Right.
one out, though.
So maybe not 5 times a day, but maybe 4 times a day you pray, and 1 time a day you just knock one off.
There you go.
Yeah, man. There's a night during Ramadan when you recite the entire Quran. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's noble. Great. Good job. That needs to be a night where you're like, man, I'm going through the entire collection of John Holmes or whatever it's going to be. You know?
Right. Every Ginger Lynn movie.
Yeah. The Seymour Butts catalog, press play now,
Nice.
Help those guys
I used
out.
to have a roommate, and I'm not going to name names, but I'm not. He used to show up, right, and he was cool. He was a great roommate. Low maintenance, he was just cool. However, one of the things about him that was remarkable was this was back in the day where, I'm dating myself now, but we all remember the time where you used to have to rent porn. And you'd rent porn on VHS.
There was always the weird section in the back of the video store.
Sometimes there were saloon doors.
Saloon
Whatever.
doors. It was all that. Yeah, the saloon doors.
So there was also that bag, that plastic bag that you got from the video rental store. It was like the little black plastic Mylar bag. It was real thin. And he would come home from work and, he'd have that bag. And I'd be like, what's up, man? What you got in the bag? And he was cool. He'd be like, oh, man, check these out. And he'd bust out these porns that he rented. And it would be like Brazilian, whatever. It was a variety of stuff. And he dug a variety of stuff. So I was always like, hey, man, let's see what you got in the bag. So he'd bust out and I'd be like, oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, and this is some Gonzos. And this is some, oh, check this out. Wow. And it would just be, and then I'd do the math. I'm like, what time you got to be at work in the morning? You got 8 porns, man. When are you going to watch these?
That's right. I got 8 of them.
And there was not like 5-day rentals. These were due the next morning.
Right.
So, and then the next day I'd see him be like Tuesday. Hey, what's up? Oh, you got a bag.
Another
what
bag.
You got in the bag?
You think
you got 8 more porns? Motherfucker, what are you doing all those porns?
You think the late fees are different on those?
I don't know. But he was never late because he always had fresh ones. But I tell you what, if you're a young man, few things make you cooler as a roommate. He was a cool roommate.
Yeah.
In
Sure,
a lot of categories.
especially one that's going to fess up to it. I guess if you're going to have them in the bag, man up.
Yeah.
But they'd probably come back all sticky.
And it wasn't like
tell you.
I would go in the bag and I'd look in there. He would show, he was walking in with them. So it wasn't like, I had to wait until he was in the shower or whatever. And then I'd rummage through that plastic bag to see what was in there. And it would be,
Totally.
He was forthcoming with it. It was like, hey, listen, how about this, man? How about you go get something to eat? Go get some dinner, whatever.
Yeah.
By the time you're done with dinner, I'll be through these first 2 and then you can have them.
Right.
Just be kind, rewind.
Right. Yeah. You just watch them on fast forward.
I used to work at Tower Video. I know a lot about this stuff because we had porns there.
Right.
The movies for sure smelled different than all the rest of the movies. Like they were, the guy had smoked a lot.
Right.
And it didn't smell necessarily like you might think it might smell, but it smelled terrible.
Right.
There wasn't a whole lot of cleanliness around these movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the whole section had an odor to it.
Those tapes
That's pretty gnarly.
survived around party time.
Right. And, the guys that rent those things probably didn't wash their hands a whole lot.
No.
So that was one thing that was kind of crazy. The other thing is I built up a huge collection of porn. And I was a good roommate because I'd lend them out. Yeah, go ahead. Take whatever you need. You got any of this? Yeah, hold on. Let me see. And I had just a lot of them because I worked there.
Was there beta porn?
This was all VHS. There was no beta. And we didn't have any Laserdisc porn, but,
Well, imagine the
we had-
quality.
yeah.
Laserdisc quality.
And we could order
That's
porn.
amazing.
It's like, hey, someone stole with Ginger Lynn or whatever it was, And so you'd order a new one and it would show up and then it would disappear.
Hey, what happened to our copy of Insatiable 2?
Yeah.
Right. We're going to have to replace it.
Yeah. And so
I was a fan of Marilyn Chambers.
we had to be. She was good at that.
Yeah, she was.
But I acquired a lot of porn over the years.
She was a rock star. By the way, she's still alive. So if you're out there,
is,
Marilyn
right?
Chambers, listen, all due respect. I really admire your work. You got me through some really rough teen years.
rough patches.
And I just want to say I'm really glad that you made it out, and you're alive and well.
I got to say, this was a long intro, and I don't know if anybody has any idea what Scott does yet because we've talked about trannies and porn.
So far, what people know about Scott is that he talks about
Hitler,
trannies and porn.
Yeah.
Hitler, trannies, and porn.
Yeah.
Well, a few things about Scott Pelkey. First of all, he's wearing a Giants baseball cap.
Is that okay here?
That's cool
Is
in
that
his
okay?
house. That'll get you some
I know
love
it's.
around
I
here.
get a lot. Oakland is that? Well, I go back and forth, but for some reason I've always leaned towards San Francisco.
Like
Yeah.
a good Bay
Not,
Area
not that I
fan.
don't like
Me
Oakland.
too.
Not that I don't like
No,
Oakland.
I agree with
Totally
you.
Oakland.
I want Oakland to win. I want
Right,
Oakland to be
right.
great.
It's
I just
just-
happen to be a Giants fan.
It's just when I got this hat, the Oakland, they didn't have any cool Oakland hats.
Yeah.
So I was San Francisco.
And black and orange is easier to rock than green and gold.
Kind of.
You know, I mean, you do have green and gold on your sweatshirt, but still.
Well, but that's John Deere.
Yeah.
So that's like a totally different thing.
It's not like Chicago, where if you're a Cubs fan, it's like, hey, what did the White Sox fans say to the blah 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 whatever,
Right.
and Martin Luther King
Right.
and
Yeah.
Jesse Jackson and a White Sox fan walk into a bar,
Right.
and your mother's a whore.
Yeah, it's Bay Area pride. That's all it is.
Yeah,
Bay
That's
Area
what
pride.
it is. It's uniform.
That and it drives the Dodgers fans nuts,
right.
which is kind of the important thing.
That is the
That is the
important,
important
thing. Yeah.
Although, let me ask you this: if the Dodgers or the Padres or the Angels were to win a World Championship, would you support that over, say, New York winning it or New England winning
Yeah,
it?
well, West Coast.
So you,
for sure.
So you
Yeah,
will
but West
ultimately-
Coast
But you
team
know what
went
though?
and played
But I
like
would rather.
Cleveland
I would. Yeah, the Dodgers are kind of at the bottom of the list.
That's
though.
fine. That's fine.
But
Yeah.
still, yeah, West Coast.
I talked
For
to a
sure.
lot of Chicago. I
California.
used to live in Chicago, and a lot of the fans.
I like
it's-
Chicago.
and there's nothing wrong with them at all.
No.
Yeah.
But their fans are very divided. So if you ask a Cubs fan,
Right.
White Sox and Cardinals are playing for the World Series title. Who do you want to win? And it drives them crazy because they don't want to have to ever deal with that.
Right.
But those two teams did win World Series in very close proximity to each other, so they had to deal with it twice. They'll pick the Cardinals over the White Sox. They'll pick their arch rival to win
Right.
over the crosstown. Right? They're like, oh,
Right. They hate the just.
but they're all
the
Blackhawks
cross-
fans, and they're all
Right.
Bulls fans, and they're all
Right.
Bears fans. But they
Right.
cannot resolve the White Sox hate.
Right.
It's funny.
That is funny. Don't hate.
Don't hate.
Yeah. So back to our esteemed guest, Scott Pelkey, and what he does for a living, because he's got a fucking fascinating job.
Yeah.
We touched on this a little last time.
We did touch on this last time, but now we're committing it to posterity.
Right.
Before we
Yeah,
were on
yeah.
the terrestrial airwaves, and who knows, maybe somebody had play and record pushed down on
Their old tape recorder.
exactly right.
I still have some of those.
Yeah. And but what we wanted to capture was this is our our new show. It's a bit of a new format because number one, we can let the language fly, which is good for me.
Right?
Because,
Yeah. Okay.
I let something slip every now and again.
Oh,
I
for
try
sure.
not to be too vulgar for vulgarity's sake.
I have a
but,
horrible mouth.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Some people say you got a purty mouth.
I got a purty mouth.
Yeah.
But you are what is your title exactly? Stop right there. That's a great title.
That
I
means,
want that on the business card. Scott Pelkey.
that means you
it's
do
just
a
a
lot
lot
of hard ass shit right there.
It does. I do.
What is one of the most craziest things you've had to do at like a moment's notice? Scott, do this now. Boom.
The long silent pause, dead air. Oh man! See,
We cut that out. Don't worry about
with
that.
No, we're leaving that in because
right?
that was beautiful.
It's yeah. It just sometimes I don't know. I remember
I need a 40-inch studded dildo.
No, it's
and
not.
no
it's,
questions.
no. Honestly, it's nothing like that. It's oh my god, the hairdryer broke. Quick, go buy a new hairdryer.
There's a CVS across
Yeah,
the street.
exactly. Oh, I've had to run blocks to do stuff like that. Because sometimes gigs are next to nothing. It's like, oh, I think we passed a 7-Eleven a mile away.
Yeah.
So
You're playing at the RBC Centura Center,
right? Yeah,
it's Bixby, North Carolina,
It's
or
just
whatever.
it's just crazy things where they, either something will break or it's like we need this tomorrow. I remember like, oh, there's no mustard. Shit.
No mustard.
So you run, you run next door to the restaurant. And just
Right.
I need a bunch
need
of mustard
mustard.
to go now.
Don Henley can't fucking sing if his
So,
sandwich doesn't have mustard on it.
It's not.
I let the cat out of the bag a little bit
It's
right there.
silly little things that you're not prepared for.
Yeah.
You always try and be.
But they
prepared.
matter though. Those things.
Oh, they
are
do.
important.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing.
I mean, so
The
you.
thing is, you're the catalyst for the really the tip of the spear regarding creative people.
Right.
You are the catalyst for them
Well,
to deliver to
not
us
just-
what it is they do for a
It's
living.
not just me. I'm
course
part
not,
of a
but-
bigger
Yeah, you're on a team.
team.
But
Yeah.
one of the things that you do is you take all of the distractors that you can control and you remove them, you know?
Right. Well, the way I look at we haven't even. I mean, I'm a roadie. I work for bands. I travel a lot.
That is the most humble
So-
explanation of what I imagine your job to be. But we'll get to what I imagine your job to be.
Well, without getting into the nitty gritty yet of what I do, I work backstage. I work with the bands, but I'm just the way I look at it is the head of my department. It is my job to run circles around her to make her job as easy as possible, so she can concentrate on what she needs to concentrate, and I take care of all the little
details,
all the not necessarily just all the little not horseshit stuff, but all just the
But you were
You make sure
thing.
you make sure there aren't nits to pick.
Right, exactly. And try and put out fires when and where I can, if there are any in our department and stuff. So I help set up dressing rooms. I help run the dining room, make sure the chef has everything's copacetic. Through, I kind of do a lot, but
Yeah.
This is an unsung job, man, and I appreciate your humility. But the bottom line is, you are, you make a fine, honest living, making sure that people who entertain us have all of the things that they need, so that they don't have to worry about the
right. Yeah, and that's bottom line. That's what it is. Making sure that they are as comfortable in any given venue as we can possibly make them.
So you show up ahead of
Yeah, I show up. I'm in the venue by 6 a.m.
Let's go through
Let's do a day in the life.
day in the life. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So let's pick a large venue. Let's pick a venue like Madison Square Garden.
No. Yeah. Okay.
Why did you make that noise?
It's a hard venue.
Is it?
It is. Yeah. It's just a hard venue. Some venues are super sweet, and some venues are just.
What's the difference? What makes a venue easier?
You get what makes it easier. Loading docks.
Oh,
And how, believe it or not, how you can get trucks in and out, as many as you can get in at one time. Sometimes you can line 4 trucks up in a row. Other times you can only get one in at a time.
right.
And so the day starts out. A lot of it is loading dock and your local help.
Just figuring out the bare bones logistics of where where all your stuff is headed.
Right, exactly. And that's the first thing. That's what we do. First thing you walk. When I'm in the venue, when we're in the venue, we get our little backstage team together and look at our plot map.
Map it out.
Yeah, look at our plot map, our map, and get with the whoever our contact is, the venue person,
Right.
who's in charge of that, and we walk through and they go, "These are your rooms. This is what," and then we kind of go, "Oh my God, these are our rooms."
Yeah. This is what we're working with here.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sometimes we seriously polish some turds, because our star dressing rooms with their locker rooms.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
sport team locker rooms, and a lot of times we don't get access to like the Chicago, like the Bulls. We play what I don't even know what venue that is.
I think it used to be Chicago Stadium, whatever it is.
Whatever it is now. We don't get access to like the team's locker room where they're nice and sweet. Sometimes we do. Most of the times we don't.
Yeah.
We get all the other visiting
shitty
team
rooms.
locker room, the coach's locker room, the whatever. And so you walk in, you're like, okay, this is a locker room. How are we going to make this work?
And I have to make this a usable space where a guy can
Right.
decompress before he
Right.
goes out and plays in front of 58,000 people.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
And I suppose we should take a second and say the bands that you have done this for most recently are the Eagles and Green Day.
Right.
So we're not talking
I mean, we're talking about Madison Square Garden too.
Yeah.
We're not talking about
Madison Square Garden and hundreds of dollars a seat.
We're not talking about loading Ace Diamond into the Omni.
Right.
So
The Omni.
And there's nothing wrong with working the state fair or the county fair,
No,
but
man.
Right.
these are it's high pressure gigs. There's a lot of money at stake.
we're not talking about Cry Wolf in 1984.
Right.
We're talking
But-
about. I'm just name dropping my
right,
friends.
Right. Yeah. No, hell yeah. the best way for me to describe any tour, big tour, it doesn't matter, any big tour that rolls through.
Yeah.
Imagine picking up any multi-million-dollar office, Apple, Hewlett Packard, a Sun, whatever. Pick their offices up and dump them into a new venue every day and make it work.
Yeah. You're going to dump that new venue. You're going to dump the Apple headquarters into a new venue 300 times over the next year and a half.
Right, exactly. And make it the same show every, so it's
a little different than truant at the Dan Foley Cultural Center. Anyway.
Right. Well, and I never realized that before I started touring, that there's more going on behind the stage than the actual show.
Right.
There's still even though there's a show going on
the cherry
stage,
on top.
Right. Even though there's a show going on, there's still work.
There's moving parts.
Right. There's moving parts. There's people, in the bowels of the venue that are, when the band goes on stage, we start breaking down and start pushing cases.
Right.
So
let's face it, he's earned quite a lot, but your day is a little longer than Joe Walsh.
Well, right, but I'm not Joe Walsh.
Right.
He
that's what I'm saying.
He's
been at it and all
that's
that.
right, and
that's taken away
that's
from
where
him.
we come into play, is to make him as comfortable and as smooth for him,
right?
To where they don't have to worry about it.
Well, let's do the math on this. If we want to pay tribute to Joe Walsh, and I will,
we do. He's unbelievable.
But the deal is this: you have to start your day at 6 a.m.
Well, my day starts at 4:30 a.m. because I usually have a lobby call. So I get up at 4:30. My lobby call is usually 5:30, so we can get to the venue by 6.
Right.
So we can start dumping.
You're at the venue at 6.
Right. So we can start dumping trucks at 6:30.
This sounds like a military operation.
This
it
is for a show.
It is
a show that's going to happen at 8 o'clock.
It's it's a traveling circus. It is just like
totally.
I can't say it's just like the military,
No,
but
it is.
It is structured to where
stuff has to happen.
Timing is it's all about timing.
Yeah.
By the way I look at it, by 12 o'clock I should have A, B, and C done.
Right.
If I don't, I'm late.
You're behind. Yeah.
Or even if I'm not, I feel like it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And it's all based on when the lights are on, the mics go hot, everything's got to be ready. Say it like at 10:30.
Right.
It takes 12 hours before that, and everything has to be done in sequence. You have to backwards plan it, and then
exactly.
you forward plan
Right.
it, and then you execute it. And it's,
exactly. It's time is of the essence. And one little thing. Well, I mean, it seriously is sometimes waiting to get tables for our rooms. Can screw our whole day up. I mean, it's that little of a thing where it's like, what do you mean you're out of 6-foot tables?
Right.
We need it. So, I mean, as trivial and as silly as it sounds, it seriously can throw a monkey wrench into the works.
Well, here's the math that I want to do.
And that's just not backstage either. That goes for any department.
Sure.
So it's just one little thing.
But it's not, and what I want to dispel is somebody thinking, well, those prima donnas, they got Scott working from 4:30 in the morning. But here's the thing. There is an expectation when you're Joe Walsh or Glenn Fry or whoever, there is an expectation that 50,000 people have of you that night. And the more that things can be regular and structured, and what, if I may put myself in that position for a moment, what I expect when I get in the room so that I can calm myself and put myself in the right place to go out there and deliver that night.
Right. And remember, those guys, the Eagles, they're all 60, 70. Right. I'm not exactly sure exactly how, mid to late 60s.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out and they play a 3-hour show every night.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that.
Yeah.
They play a 3-hour show and they bring it every night. It's amazing.
Yeah. Right.
I could only, I play drums. John, you play drums. I could only wish to still be doing that when I'm 60, 70 years old.
Yeah. And to have 3 hours in you.
Right. And have 3 hours in you.
Of 100%.
And those guys, they're a true band. They come in at the same time basically around the same time. They sound check.
Yeah.
But
they have a disciplined, structured thing.
They have a discipline.
And it needs not to have monkey wrenches in it.
No.
So that they can be at their best and
Right.
pace themselves the way they need to pace themselves and all of that stuff.
It's funny because for me,
If If you like the show,
and you know you do,
send us some pictures of your boobies.
don't do that. Support the show.
There are 3 ways you can support us.
Number 1, go to iTunes or Stitcher or wherever you listen to podcasts.
And leave a 5-star rating and review.
It helps with the show metrics and helps us get better placement. Number 2,
Visit our website.
www.breakitdownshow.com.
We've got an Amazon and an eBay link.
Same Amazon, same eBay, you know and love, but they give us a little kickback when you get to their site from ours. And number 3, leave comments about the shows that you like. We want to know what you think, how you feel.
Tell us how to make the show better. We greatly appreciate it.
Now back to the show.
We like boobies.
You always hear all these stories of Don Henley being, so hard to work with, this, that. He's always, mean guy, this, that. I get it. I get him. Maybe it's a drummer thing, but I get it. It's he demands perfection. And the same, and I mean, that for me, that goes with, it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
Whatever your job is.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Demand perfection.
Demand perfection.
Okay. And at his level, that's all right.
Let me just turn this around for a quick second. So for everybody out there who's thinking, well, you don't have to be that rough on anybody and all that stuff. There is 1,000 hours of footage that you can go pull up of him right now on YouTube or wherever else. And that guy in that 1,000 hours of footage has hit his snare drum 12,000 times. No, 120,000 times. And he doesn't miss.
No.
So this perfection that he demands of all the people around him, your staff, you guys are compensated. And this is not the perfection that's any different than what he's demanded of himself.
Right.
And what he delivers for us as fans. So you're just a member of a team. It's not just him.
Right.
You're a member of a
it's-
team that demands perfection of all of itself.
Everybody. The pressure, and that goes for the entire crew. We are the hardest on ourselves because we demand perfection also.
Right.
When we talk about what you do,
But I look at it. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
But anything I do,
yeah,
like I would say, don't mistake my anger for passion for what I do, because I put a lot of pressure upon myself, and my anger is more anger at myself,
right,
for not.
It's one of the emotions you have to have ready to, there's anger and fear that are going to drive that need to do it right.
Right.
When we talk about what you do, a lot of times I use the example of Joe Walsh's pants, right? Like Joe Walsh needs his pants cleaned and where he needs them to be every single night. He might have 25 pairs of pants, but when he goes to reach in for that number 18 pairs of pants, that, it needs to be there. When I get ready to go to work, like if John and I are going to go do a project or something, if I can't find my keys, my stress level instantly goes up.
Right, exactly.
Right, and then where's this? And then I'll start to lose track of things that I need to do. And it's a simple thing. And this guy is going to go perform before tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, 50,000 people don't need your keys being lost to be on your mind.
Right, exactly.
So
it's not demanding. It's just what has to happen.
Right.
He doesn't need those distractions.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's it exactly. And it's our job to eliminate as many distractions as possible.
And we think that's cool as hell that you're able
And the
to do
funny
that.
thing is, when you see Scott Pelkey, dear listeners, Scott Pelkey is rock and roll as shit. He doesn't give a fuck. But he does give a fuck.
But I do.
He really does.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
More smoke, more smoke than mirrors, but it's all. But and like I said, a lot of people think it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's not. It's
hard work.
It's 18 to 20 to 23, sometimes 48-hour days. No lie, depending on
what needs to happen.
Depending on what needs to happen, depending on how the shows are, where the shows are. There are days where I'll be in the venue at 6 a.m. I'll walk onto the bus at 2 a.m.
Right.
You got a show the next day in a different city. Well, if you get 4 hours sleep, you're stoked. Or sometimes there's been several occasions where you have enough time, you get to the hotel, you have an hour to shower, and then you're back on the bus going to the next, literally a 48-hour day.
Yeah.
No sleep.
Right.
Zero sleep.
So
let's keep walking through that day. So you're there at the venue at 6 o'clock in the morning. You got your map. You're just starting to plot everything out.
Food's catered in, right, for breakfast and everything? Did you guys eat?
They have local catering. The band, a lot of bands also travel with their own
Right.
their own chef.
Right.
You know, so I deal with him.
Is that pretty
also.
fire and forget, or are there problems there too? Like
Nah,
it works pretty well.
yeah, it works fine. It totally works fine.
You don't get people fed.
Yeah.
Things start to fall apart quick.
Right, but that's all, you know, part of they also have local catering for the rest of the crew and stuff. Some, you know, sometimes it's amazing, sometimes it's
Less than amazing.
beans and weenies.
Yeah. So let's keep going.
Okay, so I'm in the venue. So yeah, so the head of wardrobe, Leslie, who I work under, we walk the halls and she decides what room is whose, and there's politics involved. You know, so and so can't have a room next to so and so because so and so likes to warm up vocals while so and so likes to
Needs
sleep
it quiet. Yeah.
So, you know, it's just dynamics like that. It's, you know, they're not difficult. It's just that's how it is.
Has she worked for the band for a long time?
Yeah, like 20-something years.
Wow.
I think basically since they've been their reunion,
Since they've been
back together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's in, what, 90 when they get back, like 96? Was that
I don't
the
know,
hell
but
freezes over?
We're talking about a band that has had a 20-year, 18-year comeback.
right.
You know, that's amazing.
Yeah.
They're back has
Right.
been 18 years.
Right.
So
And more power to them.
that is incredible
It
longevity.
is. You know, who hasn't grown up with the Eagles?
Yeah.
Really. And that was the funny thing. You know, the first couple of shows, after, you know, running around backstage while they're performing, it would stop and be like, "Oh, they do that song too. That's right.
That's right.
So it was a total
I
memory
remember
lane kind of thing.
when I kissed that girl in the 6th grade.
you know. So yeah, totally stuff like that. It's like, oh,
I was the new kid in town.
Oh, I was always the new kid in town. So yeah, so there was that too. And I'm lucky. I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
You know, who would have ever thought?
It is a cool gig.
It is. It's a hard gig, but I love it. I absolutely love my job.
How many shows do you guys, you go out on the road with the Eagles like a month at a time, typically?
With them, we're usually out like 3 weeks and then home 10 days and then home and then gone another 3 weeks.
That's awesome.
And then home for 8 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like their schedule. It's actually kind of cool because with the other band that I work with, we'd be gone for 2 months, and then I'd be home for 3 weeks, and then we'd be gone for another 2 months, and I'd be home. You know, so those were a lot longer, a lot harder. But
You're talking about extended time away from your family.
right? But you know, with FaceTime,
Yeah.
you know, every other day,
Right.
Or I'll set it up where if I'm setting a room up, I can FaceTime and just set the my iPad down, and they can, you know, my kiddo and wife can watch what I'm doing. They can watch while I'm working.
Yeah.
You know, and I can carry
Chat
them around
for a
and
while.
chat while I'm working, while they're getting ready for school or going to bed or
How
whatever
much
the
has
case may be.
technology improved
So-
that part of your life?
Right, exactly.
The ability to find the CVS, you know, you don't need a yellow book or none of that kind of thing.
Right, exactly. So that, you know, that makes it easier for sure. It's still hard. It's still tough to be gone.
It's work. Work is hard. You know?
Right, and that's what it is. It's work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad to have the work.
Do you even get to enjoy the show at all, or are you constantly on the move?
I'm constantly on the move.
Yeah.
The only time I would ever get to see the show is if we're doing like the same 2 shows at the same venue kind of thing. You know, then we don't have to break anything down. So
Yeah,
it's like,
that
I
second
can.
night makes it a
right.
little bit easier.
It's called a walk away. So if we have a walk away, then it's like, okay, sweet. I can go out and catch, you know, 10, 15 minutes of the show.
Right.
You know, but even at that, there's usually always something to do. There's always something that can be done. And that's the way I look at it. I don't like to have idle time because I always feel like there's something that can be done.
Yeah.
You know, something can always be straightened up. Something can always be put away.
Yeah.
It can be cleaned.
Right.
So, you know, that's.
Hey, have you ever played the Gilos Theater in somewhere in Missouri?
No.
Oh, anyway.
No.
It's not a big joint. It's a little joint. It's not someplace you would have been with the Eagles.
Have you ever played the
Someplace
Tony
you would have
Orlando
been
Theater? With Tony
Was that in
Orlando?
Branson?
Yeah.
No, I've never been to Branson. I would love to go.
Yeah, I want to go
I
too.
bet it's
Would you
got-
love to
it's-
go to Branson?
Oh yeah, why not?
I can think of why not.
I mean,
No, I don't know. I've never been to Branson.
why
either.
not? I find that whole thing.
It is fascinating.
It is. It totally fascinates me.
Yeah.
Why? Pick any place in the United States and
Here's what we'll do. And they
Yeah.
managed to, it's like, they've sort of
it's
built
a thing.
mini
It's-
Vegas.
right? It's a thing.
Yeah.
And how
So-
talented must Tony Orlando be to be there all these years?
Do you remember the Tony Orlando and Don show?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
we're around
the
the same
Tony
age,
Orlando
right?
and Don variety show.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's been selling tickets, putting butts in seats for as long as there's been butts.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
incredible.
So
I'm curious to see him.
I would
Yeah,
go. Why
yeah.
not? I would. I totally would. I would
Yeah.
totally love to go see him.
We learned another crazy.
Is Dawn still together? I mean, those same two chicks?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
They're like Johnny Bravo, though. You can insert any
Right.
two chicks
Yeah.
in those
Yeah.
dresses.
Exactly.
We learned a fact about Susie Quattro a while back. She sold 50 million albums.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Can you
Well, she was.
imagine?
She had a way bigger career in England
Right. Yeah, that's where she lives. That's where she does her work.
than she ever did here.
Right.
Yep.
Which is kind of too bad. I think she was definitely kind of overlooked.
Yeah.
Early rock and roll chick kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, Leather Tuscadero definitely.
Leather Tuscadero, man.
Kick picking Tuscadero's
Dude,
ass.
Yeah.
well, they were sisters. Come on,
Yeah.
but see, I was always more fond of Leather Tuscadero,
Sure.
than Pinky.
Yeah,
She
Pinky
was
was-
more. She was a little grittier, a little.
She
dirtier.
was, that's
she was
right.
She was kind of the punk rocker of Happy Days.
And
A
Pinky
little more
Tuscadero-
dangerous.
Pinky Tuscadero basically grew up to become Peg Bundy's mom.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. She was a little more prima donna kind of thing.
Yeah. Bouncing
You know.
around.
But no,
Smelling
I was more into the black leather
Sure.
than the pink.
She rocked harder, too.
Oh, totally. Yeah, she totally rocked hard. Remember, Joni was gonna run away.
That's right.
And she was going to join the whatever Leather Tuscadero.
The Leatherettes.
Was it the Leatherettes?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And so that was a good episode.
So you get to the venue at 6 something in the
Okay.
morning. You guys
Right.
start working. What are you working on?
Well, we're by the time we get the rooms figured out, that's when back to the tables. That's when I get with the house guys. There's they usually give me some a couple of local guys that know where to go get things, and all this is on the rider. They should the venue gets ahead of time what we need per room, and whether they have it or not, that's always the big roll of the dice.
Right.
So once that happens, that's usually about the time. That's around 6:30. Then our truck dumps. But back up. That's when I start telling the local house guys, okay, I need, you need to go get me 12 8-foot tables,
Right.
6-foot tables, and just get them here. Just get them to me, and don't disappear because we use the local guys to start. And so while the truck is dumping, and in the meantime, if we have time, that's when Leslie goes in and starts putting Post-its on the walls in the dressing rooms, where the couch is going to go, where the tables need to go, and so that way, when I come in, because I'm kind of in charge of furniture. Well, once the truck dumps, then I get with the furniture. Usually they rent the furniture to bring it in, and that's when I get with my local guys. Okay,
You rent furniture locally?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
God, there are so many moving pieces to this
Yeah,
thing.
look at those
Right.
parts.
Right.
Man.
That's the other thing that people don't understand is besides just the music industry, how many little offshoot industries
Yeah, the
depend
support.
on the support. Right. We rent furniture every day. Everything that people see. I mean, where do you think the PA comes from? Where do you
Right.
think the stage comes from? Where do you think the barricade comes from?
SIR, all of it.
Where do you think?
But they don't rent couches.
We even have, where do you think the cable ramps come from?
Yeah.
All that stuff is rented.
Yep.
There are whole businesses that rock and roll rental. That's
Yeah.
what they do.
Yeah.
Catering, food.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother industry. Craft services, you don't think about.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a whole nother thing.
But just to go to the most minute detail of stuff you don't think about, you imagine for a moment Don Henley's dressing room, everybody. Now, it's easy to imagine a rock star's dressing room, right? There's a couch. There's probably a couple couches. There's that, set up with the coffee table, maybe a fountain,
no, you know what? Those
little
guys,
things.
they're not.
Well,
they're-
I'm just painting a picture
right.
for
No,
a rock
they-
star's
they-
dressing room.
right,
It's a
right.
it's a furnished room, but it's not furnished at 6 o'clock that morning.
No, that's the thing.
That
You gotta
needs
remember.
to be built
It's
every day.
It's a locker room.
Right.
Right.
We're walking into a locker room.
And you have to
and we have to create a living room,
a space,
a nice.
Because he's there all day too, just like you. I mean, he's a large.
They get there. They show up anywhere between 2:30 to 3:30 because they like to sound check around 4.
Right.
So yeah, they're there all day long.
They need somewhere to sit.
Right.
And yeah.
That's where he's going to live that day.
Right, exactly.
In between doing the stuff that his work demands of him, the sound check.
Right, exactly. So yeah, essentially we every day we're creating a nice, mellow, livable space. It's not crazy, water fountains and silk from the ceilings and stuff. They like it simple, but they like it.
But it could be.
It could be. There are acts that it is.
Right.
And it makes the 72-degree room not so crazy when you understand that this person has to sing every night.
Right.
They can't have wild fluctuations.
Yeah.
And those kind of things.
It opened my eyes to go, some of these things people think, they asked for. Well, a lot of it, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There is a specific reason. Yeah. Some of it is, like anything, there is extremes.
Right.
But even then, it is what it is. If that's what they want, that's what they want.
Right.
And there are people that do that for them every day.
Yeah, you have to know the context. You can't take it out of context.
Right.
If you believe that the air conditioner gets you sick, you don't want an air conditioner. I need a portable swamp cooler.
Right.
And I need my room to be this temperature because that's what I need. Every night I've got to have my voice be right.
Right. That's it exactly.
Right.
Could you imagine, Christina Aguilera or any of them that you want to call divas, if, honestly, if their room is an off a degree and their voice starts cracking in the middle of a set.
Right.
The whole world's going to hear about it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's their brand. Right.
There is a lot of pressure on the artist too, which then, like we were saying, comes back to us to making sure that is our job, to make it as comfortable every time as possible. It's a weird dynamic, but it is, that's how it is. We work 20-hour days to do this. So
that's noble work, man. Fucking A.
It is.
So anyway, I guess onward with my day. So, we start, walking in. I have my guys that follow me. It's like, okay, if you go through, and a lot of it, you got to depend just how good your help is, because I'm doing other things. I'll walk them in. All right, guys, you'll see the Post-its, and by that time, we'll have the furniture. We try and make it as foolproof as possible for the local help.
Right.
We'll put Post-its even on what furniture goes in what room. Okay, this set of couches goes in so-and-so's room. You'll look on the walls. There's a Post-it. That's where we want it to go. So, and it's just, a lot of it is just wrangling people.
Sure.
Help.
Right.
You're just kind of the ringleader, making sure everything's getting in where it's supposed to get in and and where it's supposed to be. So,
So by what time do you typically have dressing rooms all in order?
Usually if we can get all, and remember, we're dealing with five artists?
Yeah.
Yeah, 5 plus the backup band. So we've got, every room has is different. Every artist likes their room. They have what they have. So everyone's different. But usually if we can if we're done by, for the most part, everything done and up and good, walk away, close the door, 1:00, noon, 1:00.
Yeah.
Then we're good.
Man, that's a big hunk of work already, right?
That is a lot of work by 1:00.
Right.
Again, these details are the key here, I think. I know a lot of moms out there that do the laundry. They freak out because their family produces so much laundry. You've got a crap load of people. I mean, how many pairs of pants are there in the building that have to be tended to? Not just all of that. You don't think about that.
And see, that's where, I deal with the hard stuff. I don't deal with clothes is hard,
right.
But I don't. But it's
a thing that has to be
dealt with. It's a thing that has to be done.
I mean, I don't know how many chests of clothes they have, but it's got to be
every day it's a turnaround. They from the show before, they have their laundry bag full of dirty clothes. The next day, it's washed and ready for them by the time they get to the venue.
Right.
And we do all the washing ourselves of the artist's clothes. We travel with our own washer and dryer.
Yeah. And that's a real thing. I mean, that really takes time. Right. I mean, you're talking, 10 bags of laundry.
And that comes back to your point about, even though they might have 20 pairs of pants or 20 different shirts, they like to wear
There's that one.
shirt, that
Yeah.
one pair of pants. That is what's comfortable to them. That is their whoopee. Talking
Yeah.
about whoopies.
Yeah.
That is their whoopee. Well, why does he wear that shirt all the time? Because it's comfortable and he feels comfortable and
And it has to smell like Tide
and it has
because he
to
likes
smell
it.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they artists notice this. Hey, you wash the shirt in something different.
Yeah.
Hey, it's little things like that.
And that's not perfection.
Right. And
That's just
not,
that, yeah.
So it's the little. It's more important about the minor things.
Right.
That I guess you can't say most people wouldn't think about. But that's the things we have to pay more attention to is the little minute things. Because if it's not, you can't go, I'm going to leave, I'm going to forget this type of sugar because, I'm not going to put it out. Well, if it's not there,
Right.
guess what?
It gets noticed.
It gets noticed. Whether they use it or not,
Right.
it's different.
Yeah.
It has to be, you try and make it the same every time.
The Edge's guitar tech told a story where when they're on tour, if he doesn't change every single string on every single guitar, the Edge notices.
Right.
He's like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Because
these aren't fresh.
Because something's not right.
And that's incredible, that level of detail.
You might think, well, what's the difference if you put the garbage can on the left or the right side of the desk?
Yeah.
It matters.
It matters.
Because if they, it's always on the right-hand side because they automatically always go, whatever. Always go to the right side. If it's on the left side, well, hey, wait a minute. Well, it is the little thing.
And that might even get the response where Don Henley throws the rag down where the garbage can's supposed to be, and someone's got to pick that up anyhow.
Right. Yeah. So,
and it's not him being a jerk. It's just that's the program.
That's the program.